To Mark, he says, the truth is very demographic Tommy and the Amico are aiming for won't spend $350 on a console when the Switch, with more games and well-known franchises, will sell for the same price on the same store shelves. This was the appeal of the Wii. It aimed for the non-gaming demographic was cheaper than the other consoles. The Amigo is now the same price as the Xbox S and the Nintendo Switch. The first directly competing with the same consumer base. Buying a third-party controller with those systems only outs the cost of those systems $14 to $20 above the Amico, and you get access to all those games and online gaming as well if needed. I've been playing games since 1975, and I'm a bit older than you at 52. I'm still a gamer, a PC gamer, console gamer, and a retro gamer. I just received my Evercade system a few weeks ago. I have a modded Intellivision system. I still have my collection of over 17 consoles and handhelds over the decades. The market the Amico is trying to secure has changed, and the demographic that it's going for is niche now because of mobile gaming. So Rob's just pointing out that he's the real deal, man. He buys everything. He knows what he's talking about. The very games the Amico has are essentially mobile games costing $10 to $20 now. This won't sell in numbers to attract game developers when most of those games are free to play or on mobile or 99 cents to $5. And with no in-app purchases, which I like, by the way, what incentive does a game developer have to make games on the Amico with such a small user base and a cost for those games above mobile games looking for and playing the same? Price at the $35 price alone is doomed. I guess he means at $350. And that's it. Yeah, that's a whole other issue. How are they going to attract third-party developers? No one's going to want to build a unique game for the Amico, at least. Like, they might port their games like some of those other guys did. And is it really worth the effort when you only have 5,000 pre-orders? Like, it's just not worth the effort. It'd just be easier for them to put it on Steam and sell there. Or the mobile stores if they want a mobile game. Oh man, this keeps going here. Mark M says, Rob, thanks for being more civil in your last post. I think it's the main thing setting people off your arguments, your tone, and not the arguments themselves. If you think this product is not going to work, that's perfectly fine. No need for troll-like behavior. Mark M is trying to be the bigger man here. He's trying to seem like he's a calm, cool dude. They said you may be right. If they do need to raise the price to $350, it may indeed price itself. It may indeed, of course, it'll price itself out. There's no may. Of the current market, a lot of those other arguments against this idea don't make sense to me. This console is not being made for Sony, Microsoft, or PC gamers. The Switch does not have crossover as it is currently the best option for young families. And 10 years ago, with the two Wii consoles, the Kinect, I would say there is no more room for something like the Amico, but the Switch is not a Wii, and the Kinect has no new support. I see an opening there. How's it not the new Wii? Like, it has motion control controllers. They're releasing Wii Sports sequel in a month or two. They have they have games with motion controls. People just choose not to use them because it's kind of like gimmicky. People don't like it. So the Kinect is gone, but the Switch can do everything the Wii can and more and better. Mobile, he spelled mobile wrong. Mobile has changed everything for sure, but here again, I see potential. Parents don't want their kids glued to screens. I think he means glued to screens. I want my kids to have an hour or less screen time a day. As you would notice, that would rule out tablets and handhelds. Why not? Why does it rule out tablets and handhelds? Not only can you just, be a parent and just monitor your kids' playtime. That's what, most normal people do. On tablets, at least. I'm not sure. I think on the Switch you can do it too. You can set time limits. I know on the tablet, both when I had the Leapfrog tablet and just a regular Amazon Fire tablet, you use Google, like the parent portal, and you can limit when the kids play and how much they can play, or else force them to take breaks. And the only way they can play is if the parent unlocks it. So this guy has no argument there. I want to instead spend my and my children's time on screen together. Once again, why don't you just be a better parent? If you're a good parent and your kids like you, they'll want to play games with you. My daughter loves playing Nintendo Switch games with both me and my wife. The Amico games, while not powerful, do seem to fit the bill of a game, say, a 6-year-old, their gaming father, and non-gamer grandparents could all play together. You mentioned online games. Many parents don't want the option available, period, to a child, say, 5 to 10. In my eyes, that non-feature is a feature that makes the idea more appealing. This guy sucks. Like, this is pretty bad. So, my daughter does not play online. I have a Nintendo Online account. I just say, don't play online. She's like, okay. and a monitor playing. That's pretty. And I could disable it too if I wanted to. It's quite easy. And to say a 6-year-old game, my daughter was 6 when she started playing the Switch and Xbox One. There's Peppa Pig games on the Switch. On tablets, there's tons of stuff for toddlers. And non-gamer grandparents could play all together. Once again, this guy needs to watch the Clubhouse 51 trailer. There's tons of games that grandparents could play together. Even in their commercials, they have grandparents playing with the kids and grandkids. He writes, I do not understand that the other consoles do have some games that fit this bill, but it's definitely not the focus even on the Switch. I'm a big board gamer, and I do have to say that in the area of board gaming is crushing video games. The rise of board games to $12 billion with 1,000 new games a year is, I believe, is where a lot of the old Wii players have gone. No. They have died because it's for older people. I'm assuming they're talking about the old people. And the board game industry is a lot of like tabletop RPG type games, which are fun. And they're not for grandma and grandpa. Grandma and grandpa usually play card games, which are a lot easier to play with a deck of cards than trying to use controllers and sync up a system. And I don't know where he's getting this idea from. And a lot of the people I know who are into board games also play video games. There's tons of crossover with that. And that's addressed a lot, especially on the PC side, but even on the console sides, they have, like Ubisoft has the rights to a lot of the bigger board games, like the Monopolies and all that type of stuff. So, I don't understand this argument here. The Amico has Farkle and what else does that have? That's Farkle and, it showed Uno for a second, but that hasn't been shown. So it has like Farkle. Like what? That's all it has. The Amico construction seems best to capture that type of game even better than the big ones because the ability to have secret information in person with the controller. Just my thoughts. I hope you have good times gaming today. I just want to rewind a bit where he says what was appealing is the fact that they only have family-friendly games, and like it's just because there's less games, it makes it more appealing. And that argument, I don't understand that. So if I were to go grocery shopping and I only want healthy food, it would be better for me to go to a corner store with just like a tiny little, say, vegan store, instead of going to a large grocery store which has both the vegan and healthy options and a whole lot of other options. Like I would rather go to that little tiny store. I'd rather have a limited amount of options just because because that way I don't have to think on what I'm buying. Like, come on, like that's such a weird argument this guy makes. Rob replies to Mark saying, my tone was the same as it was in previous responses. You make some solid points, however, the price point of the Amico at $350 nullifies them. It does. The market the Amico is targeting is niche at best at this new price point. The Amico is trying to fit in between markets, the mobile market, the Switch market. The biggest interest for the Amico are older console gamers like us that want to pass on our gold gaming experiences to our children with couch co-op play. That's a niche market to begin with now. Then that price, it's not a $350 system with tablets, phones. Leapfrog and other systems costing less are the same, offering similar gameplay. The advantage Amico has to attract consumers is couch co-op. The majority gamers passed on that years ago, pretty much. The audience left that wanted are casual non-gamers that made the Wii so successful, and they'll never pay $350 for a console without the name Nintendo on it. History has shown this already. The Wii was successful because of the games and the price. The Amico lacks this as seen. Well, I don't think there's a couch co-op is dead. I hate when people say that. There's so many other games, and because online is there's so much more you can do with online. Of course, it's surpassed couch co-op. But I've one of my earlier videos on my channel, I posted a montage of a whole bunch of couch co-op games that you can play on the Switch and other consoles too. And there's tons of games, and they're really fun. Like people always go back to Overcooked, but they're like Moving Out and Castle Crashers. There's tons of games. There's like the Lego games. Like there's not a shortage of games. If people looking for it, they can find it. And most of the Mario games are like Mario Party, and I would consider that co-op. Like there's a ton of games. It's not a market that's dead. Mark M says, I'm with you on the 350. They'll need to keep it below 300 or offer more for the price. I knew that price hike was being considered, but have not seen that officially yet. To be co-op being abandoned, though, I will disagree. I think the success of the game It Takes Two, great game by the way, selling over 5 million units show that. That 5 million co-op lovers right there Not to mention people who currently don't own a system. That's enough alone to show a strong desire for co-op. That's a weird thing. In the high-end systems. The new Lego Star Wars is also going coach co-op, I guess he means couch, on consoles with the new Star Wars game. The Amico does not need to sell crazy units to be successful. By that, I mean anything over 100,000 a year would probably keep them afloat. This is pure conjecture on my part, so don't start claiming false info. I'm just saying this system, if realized, doesn't need to sell anything close to the big three to be viable. Sales-wise, to exist in Intellivision, as clearly shown in its financials in this campaign, is a small company with much lower overhead. Their overhead is insane for the size of the company that they do have. It's way higher than it needs to be. With gaming being over $80 billion industry, the few million Intellivision's needs to garner to does not seem impossible. Leapfrog, for instance, before being bought out, was a much larger co-op company and just needs to sell more Leapfrog games that the Intellivision needs to sell Amigos again. No hard numbers, just inferences. And for our friend Marky Moon here, or whatever his name is, the Leapfrog had a console with motion controls and a Kinect camera and good licenses, and that console was half the price of the Amico, maybe even less. And within a year, it was in clearance shelves, selling for $90, $50, and the games are selling for like $3 because they couldn't penetrate the market even with a way better known brand in Leapfrog, way better games because they had like Marvel and Nickelodeon games, and $100,000 units a year to keep them afloat. The 2 years they have 5,500 pre-orders. Like that's so. This guy he's dreaming, that's for sure. And he thinks they need to keep it below $300. It needs to be below like $100, like $99, and then it might have a chance if it was $99 with 2 controllers. Our good old buddy Darinka chimes in. Christian, did not mean to tell my story, but I am a 28-year-old starving student, single mom raising a 2-year-old who, for whatever reason, is on StartEngine comments for the Intellivision Amico. I don't understand how this person has crossed paths and is leaving comments on the StartEngine fundraiser. Like how she found this place. I have help from family financially, and I got my family and friends to invest here. Oh, good for her. I want this to succeed because it's the only game system I trust with my kid and family. The Switch is good too, but not all games are family friendly, and I have to do research. Do you really have to do research? Like, there's a rating system right on the front of the box saying E, E10, M rated. I'm not sure how much research you need to do when you go, hey, Mario Party, is this going to have porn in it? I don't know. Like, if you're smart enough to find a StartEngine webpage, comment section, create an account, and post stuff here, I'm pretty sure you're smart enough to do a Google search thing. Does Mario Kart have giant dildos flying around? Or bad, nasty porn stuff? Anyway, she writes, the Amigo is for sure family friendly on every game, and I don't have to do homework. So you're just saying you're a lazy parent. Gotcha. This is perfect for the lazy parents who don't want to do anything. Yes, sucks the way management blew money on this, but the product deserves a shot because I believe it to be a fantastic idea. Many here are trolls looking to smash the Amico for selfish purposes. I don't care what they say. Well, Darinka, I don't know what to say. Don't be lazy, I guess. Like, spend a couple seconds to educate yourself if you're going to buy a video game for your child. Like, if you're too bothered to do that, maybe I don't know what to say. Like, that's bad. That's I doubt this is a real person, but I wouldn't be bragging about this type of stuff. And plus, you have a 2-year-old child. Your 2-year-old child won't be playing games for like 4 or 5 years. So there's a lot of time between now and then. So here's the part where Nick is responding to those good questions from Kevin F. after 3 people chastised him to do it. The questions, I'm reading them not in order, but it doesn't matter here because he's answering each one slightly different. So we'll start off with Kevin. The company launched its first major funding round, post-seed round, at the beginning of 2020. Then the pandemic broke out. At that time, we were pursuing a traditional venture capital path. But when the pandemic broke out, many venture capital firms stopped making new investments to take the time to assess the potential impact on their existing portfolios. The venture capital firms we were farthest along with were no different. This required us to change our funding strategy as we began to look at alternative options, which led us to the Fig Republic on Reg A Plus on their platform. And I believe that because when the pandemic started, people were holding back. They didn't want to throw money because they didn't know what was going to happen. Fair enough, fair point. The strategy for our next round of funding has been both crowdfunding via this CF offering as well as more traditional investments through venture capital and strategic investors as was laid out in the offering documents. Given the pervasive activities of critics on the site, it has become obvious that this offering has been permanently derailed. This will now require the company to focus its effort on other sources of investment to continue to push forward. Well, this first paragraph, I was giving him credit. Good job, no complaints. But the second one, he's blaming this on the haters. So he thinks that, people who have $50,000, $100,000, $10,000 willing to invest are just going to take the word of people through the comment section and not actually look at the presentation and the financial documents. Not to mention the first, 3 or 4 or 5 days, there wasn't a whole lot of comments, and the fundraising or whatever dropped significantly after the first couple of days. So he's blaming the haters when, I don't expect them to say, "Oh, our company sucks and our financials suck, that's why we can't raise money." But don't blame the haters. That's such a weak cop out. His next one is, at this point, we do plan on selling physical products in stores that are associated to a game which can be downloaded. This could be something more like a tradition box game or some sort of object like an action figure or a Hot Wheels card that carries an embedded RFID tag. The strategy is related to the NFT strategy that was covered in a previous post. What we don't plan to do is sell media in stores that holds the code of that game on some sort of media. All games will be distributed and managed as part of our online digital rights management system. Well, I don't believe. Well, first of all, I don't even know we were even contemplating them going to retail. It's not happening. Let's be honest here. But having an RFID card where you scan in front of your Amico, it reads the RFID card and downloads. That I would consider that a digital download, and he's trying to make it seem like it isn't. As a private company, we are choosing not to share all of our sales data at this time. As for why we chose to sell the special edition box games when we did, production of those games were pre-planned and were sitting in a warehouse. Were they pre-planned? Because we saw the videos of them being produced, and this was based off the financial documents. They weren't even remotely close to releasing and launching, so it seems more so like they did it just to get a quick buck out of some people. Since these were produced in limited edition, no more will be produced. Fans expressed interest that they would like to purchase them now as a collectible. This obviously also helped provide additional cash for the company to get the console to market as quickly as possible. As part of selling these special edition box games, the web team worked hard to let people know that this associated games to the box collectibles will not be downloadable until the console is released. Well, if you don't have a console, then how are you going to download it? Clearly. Kevin, 1 million plus is far more than is required to launch the online store. Where do you pull that from the offering documents? Oh boy, someone needs to go through the documents, because I'm pretty sure I saw the plan of how they're going to distribute the money was. I thought it was 1.5 million was going to go to the back end for the store and the digital distribution. I'm fairly sure. I won't say I'm 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure I read that. I'd like to review that to make sure there's no confusion. Users can currently set up a credit card and purchase a game using the credit card or Amico online wallet. Redeem a gift card with the balance transfer to the Amico wallet. Redeem a box edition, among other common online store features. Digital rights, along with a very robust encryption key technology, has been implemented that also integrates into our production manufacturing system that handles provisioning. We have implemented our own proprietary blockchain technology. Oh, this I don't believe. As the foundation of our digital rights management, this has been implemented as proof of stake solution rather than proof of work solution, which has been receiving a lot of bad press lately for the large energy consumption involved in mining cryptocurrency as part of the model. At the same time, we have been working with a third-party blockchain technology that would allow us to extend digital rights beyond our own proprietary technology once we feel this makes sense for the company and customers. Our internal blockchain-based NFT technology will initially be used to simply track who owns which special edition game. If one is owned, then there will be additional digital assets within the Amico interface. Since each special edition game is tokenized, uniquely identified, and serialized, they have a number associated to which order they're purchased. Someone will own, for example, Astro Smash 1. As of an NFT, this could be worth more than 121. Although we are rolling out the core technology as part of our launch, we won't be launching a marketplace to buy sell our NFTs until a later date. Ultimately, it's our plan to bake in this type of technology into the core platform as we did with RFID and expose features to the system that leverages the technology. It makes sense for the market we are serving. Nobody believes that any of this has been done, I assume. Like, I would assume no one believes this, because if they had anything remotely close to this done, they would have shown it. And concerning that, the response of Tommy when he was asked about the NFTs,
chat, how was it encrypted?
Well, that's a silly question.
Can you explain what it is that's more than just that URL?
No, I wouldn't say that publicly. No, I guess I don't understand. There's encrypted data that is.
I'm pretty sure this is just a dream that we will never ever see. And also, why would they do all that? Like, that seems like a lot of money and effort if they were to ever do this. Why not just put the console out first, and then once you have a console up and running and all your other more important things, such as the basic online store up and running, your user interface, why not make the NFTs things, after year 2 or 3 when you have all your other stuff ironed out and rolling? So this next one, he says, as previously mentioned, Intellivision's primary focus is a multi-generational group within a physical space. Our position is there's lack of focus on the segment, particularly for non-gamers. Sony and Microsoft are focused on the high-end immersive experiences. Nintendo's currently focused on portability with the Switch. We want to see people playing together in the same room, having the money on extra controllers. We want to provide a safe gaming environment, void of violence, sex, online toxicity, dopamine trigger revenue models. I think I went over this already. Basically, he's just saying a whole bunch of crap that no one's having with the Switch at this point in time. So I do find it funny that Sesame Street titles are planned to be part of an initial launch library, and others will follow. Sesame Street was just some Flash online games that you can play for free, and those experiences will take 5-10 minutes to complete them. Meanwhile, if you were to use a tablet or go online, you can have thousands of even like Sesame Street like experiences. If you go on Sesame Street's page, last time I looked, there was over like 200 Flash games that kids can play. So they're offering very little there. With regards to answering your question about funding games, like many startups with significant cash requirements, we must continue to execute our fundraising strategy to keep on plan. Funding the games is part of this. We're in discussions with a few large mobile development companies about strategic partnership investments, which would give us access to a new game IP, cross-licensing revenue, development cash, and a good technical development partner. We also have the opportunity to apply for economic development funds in Germany, which could be as much as 1.2 million. Hey, that's how you got your first batch of games made, through funds from the Bavarian government. Our strategy going forward is not exclusively first party. We will continue to develop games in-house with our development partners, but we will also be licensing games that fit the TED experience for the Amico. At this point, we think we can have approximately 15 games this year, and another 2030 and 2023. So they have gone from 50 games at launch to 25 to 20 to 15. That is very alarming. We were told that there's the 6 games that were coming out at launch with the 8 or so, whatever it was, the physical games. And then every week a game would come out. So if we were expecting to come out in Q1 2022, so even Q2, you would have still 25 to 35 games that were supposed to also come out this year. Where are these games? Where are they in development? So our friend Harold had wrote a new comment that says, net of $52 in just about a dozen days of this disastrous crowdfunding. The worthless joke of a CFO can whine all he wants. This thing is dead as a dodo. $52 in 12 days. I know panhandlers on the subway who demolish those numbers. Ouch! Quite the burn by Harold G there. Rob A. had said, now there is news that there might be a cheaper Amico model coming out. When the first one is not even in production because of lack of funding, the company can't even get the first one out, and now they are claiming to be working on a stripped-down version of an already console that has technology in it from 2015. Is this Monty Python Flying Circus? Really? You can't make this stuff up, even if you tried, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why I've been saying, that's why I follow all this Intellivision Amico drama, because it's far more hilarious than what you can find on TV, and like I couldn't even come up with half the stuff that's gone on. Like it's really comical. So the replies to Rob, we have our friend Tony S saying still doesn't change the fact that you're an idiot. Ooh, Harold responded to that comment. The correct spelling for your insult at someone, Rob A., who is correct, is your, with the apostrophe R-E, not Y-O-U-R. Idiot. And Tommy, whatever, whoever that is, looks like an idiot after that. So Elijah B. had wrote, since Nick keeps on talking about haters in the comments here, and now he's blaming them for the reason of the Amico StartEngine campaign for flopping, I think it's appropriate to share this. On September 28th, 2021, almost 4 months ago, Tommy Tallarico made a long Reddit post, and in it he says, contrary to what a certain group will tell you, I do not call people who criticize us haters. And he has a link to the old Reddit. And now watch this compilation of clips that somebody put together of Tommy talking about haters. And then there's another link here. Tommy lies a lot, and if there's the reason that the Amico and the StartEngine campaign is failing, then are Nick, Tommy, and the rest of the Intellivision crew really honing them like Tommy says they are? Elijah also writes, I believe in transparency and just think that it's important for any potential investor here considering whether or not to invest in this that they are made aware of the former CEO Tommy Tallarico's previous shenanigans and unprofessional behavior. I'm just a messenger. As they say, don't shoot the messenger. If a potential investor looks at any of my previous comments and links that I've shared here and decides after seeing Tommy's unprofessional behavior for themselves, decides to not invest in this, that means that Nick, Tommy, and the rest of Intellivision have no one to blame but themselves. Like I said earlier, be careful what you say on the internet as it may come back to haunt you someday. And great point. And lots of people have said this, and they've tried to scrub a lot of what Tommy said, but once it's on the internet, it's copied everywhere. So you really would have been smart had they had a proper PR firm or PR person responding to outside of the company and not Tommy Tallarico, who did an absolute terrible job. So Rob A. replied to that by saying Tommy and his supporters will blame everyone. I guess he means everyone. Everyone else but themselves for the fissure of this console. They are already setting the stage, if not already. Just look at the thread for a prime example of this. Key players who are responsible for the mismanagement of this company with poor fiscal and business decisions are blaming everyone else besides themselves for their inept way of handling basic business concepts. At this point, it's a comedy how badly they sank their own company. Squealer P says, my guy, there's literally a fake Tommy Tallarico comment up above you. What other company has an army of dedicated detractors trying to bring it down before the product's even released? Well, he is correct. There was that fake Tommy Tallarico post. However, there's dozens, hundreds of videos of Tommy talking and saying these terrible things. So, one couple fake people commenting, mostly just making fun of Tommy, is not quite the same impact as the actual CEO on video saying all this terrible or all this ridiculous stuff. Christian M responds, Squealer P, what other company behaves and acts the way the Amico team does? To suggest that a small group of people took a company down is ridiculous. The financial decisions that the Amico team made is the reason it's going down and will fail. Tommy and the team did a horrible job managing this company. This is not a personal attack, it's just facts. The balance sheet doesn't lie. And exactly. This goes back to what Elijah originally said with Nick blaming the haters and whatnot. If the product is good and the business was solid and say someone just didn't like the who's in charge, that the company will still succeed because the product should sell itself. And in this case, the product would be the console, which is terrible. And I guess for this case, it would be more the investment opportunity. And based off the financials we've seen, it's a terrible investment. So that's the reason why no one's investing. So this was the comment that Harold G had reposted what Kevin F had asked, and Tony decided to respond. Tony, he says the answer to number 1, shove the woke crap up your ass. Woke is over. I hope that's not Tommy. God, I hope it's not, but I would not be surprised if it was. But that's the type of answer you're getting from the defenders of the Amico. That's pretty immature. And he also responded to Harold's other post where he had the warning. And Tony S writes, warning. Harold G is in his mommy's basement pretending like he knows stuff. Avoid this man-child at all costs. I seem to remember Tommy talking about people having no lives and spending all their time in the basement. These comments are very similar and very unprofessional there. So this Tony S, like his defense there is just so weak. It sounds like somebody who's a man-child themselves trying to respond, and their fifis are hurt. So that's why they come up with a terrible attempt at a burn. So a couple more of the posts. This one doesn't have a name yet, but it's probably a new user. It says, if you can afford an Xbox Series X, surely you can afford the console that affords you with the safe, affordable family entertainment. This is a chance for you to pull in the reins of your family and become a tight, cohesive unit. The Switch might have hundreds of couch co-op games and family-friendly games, but they're not Amico! Amico is all about friendships, families, and great times together, and drinking Kool-Aid together. Please invest in Amico. We can take gaming back and make it fun again. So I guess that's a troll post, but it's pretty funny. Rob A posts a link, and this is the video of SNEStastic talking with Tommy, and I'll play the audio here.
What you would call the Karma engine, Karma gaming engine.
So the first thing to know about it is the Karma gaming engine is like Sega's blast processing. So it's just a marketing term.
So Rob A had said, this is another example of how transparent Tommy has been with the Amico. So the video speaks for itself. It's just a bunch of jokes. Like, it's just a joke, I mean. William P says, any response to this article that suggests the conflict in Ukraine may lead to increased costs in silicone? And they have a link to it. I wouldn't doubt if they would, jump on the terrible news that's coming out of the Ukraine now, because they like to attach and try to use anything, especially like COVID, as a reason for their being so far behind and their excuses for failure. So I really hope they don't use the Ukraine situation as another example of that. So that's all I have for this episode, I guess. Hopefully there's not too many more. It looks like it was mostly just doing damage control with some pretty weak arguments, and Nick, some funny stuff such as him blaming the haters for why this fundraising is not going so well, because if you have a great product and a great marketing presentation, a couple of people asking questions in the comment section, apparently that's powerful enough to completely derail your fundraising campaign. It couldn't possibly be because your financials are in horrible shape and the product is terrible. So if you can like this, subscribe to me, because I was made fun of in the comments there because they said small time YouTube channels have less than 500 subs and I don't have 500. So I need to get over 500 so I'm not completely pathetic. And I'll make another video if Nick goes on a rampage, if more people ask questions, but hopefully that's it. If not, see you next time.